What's up guys, it's Sully, and this is the first of 10 videos showing a full run through Gods Will Fall, and I'm going to break it up into 10 videos, one per god. And we're going to start in this video with Carnoccus, who I think is the easiest god, but the first thing I want to talk about is your starting team. Now it's randomly generated when you start a new game, the different perks and whatnot that your team has. And I had to start over a few times to get a character that has that Eagle Eye perk, and that lets you parry enemy projectiles. You need to have that in order to kill one of the gods with their own arrows. So you're just going to want to start over, check your team, and repeat until you get a character that has Eagle Eye. I also like characters that have the spear class weapon. That's my preferred weapon of all the different options, and in this group I do have a couple of guys with spears, so we're good to go. So like I said, we're going to start with Carnoccus. He's right over there to the left. After that we're going to go up to Morrigan, then follow around clockwise to Belenos, Ogmios, Kranos, Lochlanarg, Boadanu, Osius, Breath Dorka, and then finally Methir Charade. And that final one, the 10th one, Methir Charade, is the one that you need Eagle Eye for. So the character with Eagle Eye we're not going to use at all until that final dungeon. We're going to be using spear characters pretty much exclusively, assuming the game allows me to continue to have good spear characters and they aren't crippled or broken through RNG after defeating bosses. We'll see how things progress as I make my way through the game. So we're going to run to the Carnoccus dungeon, and unlike other dungeons, we're going to go right to the boss. This is the only dungeon that allows you to do that, to skip the entire dungeon and just go fight the boss. And the reason for that is there's an achievement for defeating this boss without destroying any of the totems. And there are 3 totems in this dungeon that you could search around and find and destroy, and what those would do is destroying those knocks the armor off of the boss's legs. It looks like vines wrapped around his legs, and if you attack him in the legs, it takes several attacks to break that off manually. I'm not even worried about it. We're just going to be attacking him in his head, which is his general weak point. You can see this boss, it's kind of disappeared there, but he had 2 full rows of health. That's kind of randomly generated when you start a new run, so there's no real way to know how strong or weak a boss is going to be. It's kind of randomly decided, and in the case of this boss, he has the 2 full rows of health. So I'm going to start off by parrying his charges. I want to get 5 consecutive parries without taking damage to unlock an achievement. Shouldn't be a problem. I think that's 4 and 5. And there's the achievement. Playing with your food, that's for parrying a god 5 times without taking a hit. Now I'm just going to avoid his attacks and, dodge and parry and try to chip away at his health by poking him in the head. Again, I had mentioned that the spear is my favorite weapon. I'm going to be using the heavy attack with Y. It's a slower, higher damage attack rather than the X quick attack. I don't really use that very much at all. The strong attack has great range. Against normal enemies, it does a good stagger, and it does a good amount of damage. And here against the boss, all I'm going to do is try to find an opportunity to poke him in the head with that Y attack and deal damage that way. His attacks are pretty easy to parry or avoid. When he rears up on his back legs and then slams down, that one can be annoying sometimes because the timing of it is kind of random. I actually just unlocked an achievement for performing a tier 3 roar, so essentially what I believe that means is, since you've played through the tutorial, you understand the health and bloodlust system. Health on my left. If I take damage, you can see I have empty health bars there. If I parry attacks or deal damage, I'll fill up those empty bars with what's called bloodlust. It's a lighter colored shade of red. And then I can press LT to do a roar and turn bloodlust back into health. So that achievement that I just unlocked was for having, I believe it's less than 3/4 health, and then filling it all up with bloodlust and doing a roar to restore, 3/4 of your health meter at once. So that'll come for you naturally. If you don't get it here, you'll get it eventually. So now here he's kind of gone into this meandering mode where I was able to get a few quick pokes in. And again, I'm just going to keep, avoiding or parrying his attacks and trying to poke him in the head. Looks like I just unlocked an achievement for dealing 25 points of damage without taking a single hit. There's another for 50 damage. If I don't get it here, I'll definitely get it in one of the dungeons by just, chipping away at normal enemies without taking damage. And here again, I'm just parrying his dashes, looking for an opening to get some damage in. And there I took some damage, so no big deal. He's almost dead, and there it is. Now he's dead. So that's going to unlock 4 achievements. That one is for killing a god with your first warrior attempt. Then it'll unlock an achievement for killing a god, which is just, the most basic progression achievement. Then it'll unlock the 2 achievements specific to that god for defeating him and for defeating him without unlocking any totems. And now that the god is defeated, I'll come out of his dungeon and I'll get the rewards part where I'll get possibly random events that happen to the character you took in there. And then there'll be, oh, look at that, yep. So I lost some maximum health and gained some strength. And again, that's just a random occurrence. There's no way to know what's going to happen. After this, it'll show different, vigor and strength increase and decrease and possibly skill gains amongst my party. And then I'll get random items. There's a couple of random items that are really rare that it would be nice to get. And look at that, I got one of them, the Morrigan steel ingot. That item is needed to unlock an achievement. So this was going to be a no item run. Forget it. We're using that ingot in the next dungeon to create a weapon that's needed to unlock an achievement. So that was pretty lucky. I didn't really get any weapons that are going to help me very much. I was looking for, spears, higher tier spears. But we're in a good position now with that Morrigan steel ingot. So that's it for the Carnoccus dungeon. Next we'll be heading up to Morrigan and continuing on with the playthrough.